Hey guys, it's Chelsa Messenger with Picks and Parlays. We're talking hockey. Head to Dallas where the Stars are hosting the Blackhawks. We've got a promo code. The code is MAD, M-A-D, for 20% off the entire site at picksandparlays.net. Dallas home favorites here, minus 135, total of 5.5 goals. We've got Scott Rickenbach joining us, who was the #1 capper on picksandparlays.net when it came to hockey last season. He knows his hockey, and we're hoping he can shed a little light on this game for us. Scott, initial thoughts when it comes to Chicago and Dallas?
This is a nice nightcap game for us here with the two TV games on Tuesday. So looking forward to watching this one. And in this matchup, it's going to be quite interesting because both these teams have been surprising. Chicago for playing a little better than many expected, and Dallas for being a huge disappointment after facing the Lightning, of course, in the Stanley Cup Finals last year. So interesting matchup, and we've got, as a result, an interesting line here with Dallas priced at minus 135 on their home ice. I think the side here is going to be a tough call, but when looking at this total, one of the things I'm looking at is Chicago had a pattern earlier this season where surprisingly they've got involved in a lot of tighter, low-scoring games. Lankinen playing quite well in goal for them, and like I said, they were winning some 2-1 games. In fact, they won back-to-back 2-1 games. I think both of those in the shootout over Dallas earlier this season. So the Stars are looking for some revenge here. And Dallas also is coming off of a loss that came in extra time against Nashville over the weekend. Chicago comes in off a game against Tampa Bay. They were up 3-0 in that game and then unbelievably lost the game, ended up losing that game 6-3. And the thing right now with the Blackhawks is that, as I mentioned earlier, they had this pattern earlier this year of lower scoring games, but last season, they were a big time over team, and they're starting to resume that pattern again this year. I think 6 of their last 8 games have totaled 7 or more goals. And I'm looking for another high scoring one here against Dallas, because one of the keys here, the Blackhawks, Lankinen, like I said, he had been playing much better earlier this season. He's still pretty solid, but he's been a little shakier here of late, and now faces a Dallas team that's bent on revenge after losing both the games to Chicago earlier this year, tight, low-scoring games, and now looking for revenge here, and also coming off a loss that followed a 5-0 win. So Dallas had this big 5-0 win, and then right away followed up with a poor game where they had to rally just to send the game into extra time and then lost it. And here's an interesting thing, too, that's plaguing the Stars right now in goal. Hudobin, their usual #1 goalie, missed a practice earlier this season, and the coach kind of, stood up for him, made up, kind of gave him his word that it's okay, don't worry about it. Well, he's still the #1 guy, this and that. Well, then they had a back-to-back this weekend, and they used Ottinger in goal for both of the games. This is a 22-year-old rookie that's not ready for that type of situation where he's playing both games of the back-to-back. Sure enough, Dallas lost the second game of that back-to-back. And right now, I think there's some question marks about what's going on with the goaltending situation for Dallas. I think Chicago will take advantage here. And we've got a low total to work with at 5.5. I'm going over the total here and looking for both teams to have some success finding the back of the net in this one.
Right. And it's been kind of interesting to see Chicago kind of, I wouldn't say thrive in an underdog role, but they have performed pretty well. 7, 11, and 5 as a dog. And also they've been all right on the road. Their home and road splits are not that different. I know you kind of touched on this, but any stronger feelings on a side? I know the total is your favorite.
In terms of the side here, you're right about Chicago, and that's something important. Like, people tend to just look and say, "Oh, well, this team's on home ice, so they've got that edge." But the fact is, Chicago's probably got a better road record this season than Dallas does at home. Dallas has really struggled this season, and on the side here, I would absolutely at least lean towards Chicago. And here's the thing: I would have really liked Chicago if Dallas had won again, if they were coming off back-to-back wins. But now, coming off a loss, and the fact that Chicago did beat them twice earlier this season. Let me put it this way. It's a bit of a tough spot on the side. That's why I'm going with the total. But if I had to play the side, I would be looking, I would put it this way. The value is with the Blackhawks. The value is with the underdog Blackhawks in this one. So that's the key. And of course, in sports betting, it's all about that value.
Right. I think that's where I was kind of getting at, because if team's minus 135. You want to be pretty confident going into it. And I don't know if this is a Dallas team that a lot of people are super confident in. But that's going to do it for our hockey talk here on Picks and Parlays. Great stuff from Scott Rickenbach. As always, Scott, thanks for joining us.